I think I had 2 fish on there at once. Oh man, no, the other one's gone. That does not happen very often. Only when you buy this Sage Sense Euro nymphing rod. I was having too much fun with that. That was a pretty nice trout, the one that stayed on there. So I've had this rod for about 10 days now. This is the 10-foot 3-weight Sage Sense. I gave kind of an initial overview on Instagram. I wiggled the rod around a little bit. It's hard to know in the shop wiggling it around. I fished it a fair amount over the past week or so. What I experienced, this river was real high and dirty over the past week, so I was primarily throwing like bigger TJ hookers and salmon flies and stuff like that. And the sensitivity really didn't come to life. I never like to just fish something once and then take an opinion, but I'm fishing it more today. And I'm fishing it with a little bit more of a traditional Euro rig. I've got some little mayfly nymphs. That's a 2-bit hooker, and then I've got a soft tackle up on top of there. So this rod really came to life for me when I did a couple things. One, I downsized and actually started to fish traditional Euro nymph size nymphs, and I got the big stonefly nymphs off there. 2, I got the reel balance just right. I threw one of my speedsters on there. And this rod takes a little bit more weight in order to get it to balance. I like my rods to balance, tip up preferably, definitely not tip down. And I put a Redington tilt reel on there, and it's kind of a match made in heaven. We sell this complete outfit, ready to fish, coming from Reds with this line and everything, just like you're seeing here. But I put 2 ounces in the back here. This reel has an adjustable weight system. And so I got the weight balance just right, and I'm fishing 6X today because I really want to test small flies, and the rod did really come to life. In the review, I'm not going to tell you that you need to run out and replace whatever rod you have because the newest, latest, greatest thing is out. But if you're looking for a quality Euro rod, in the 575 bucks, I think, is the retail price on this thing. You're a Sage customer, you have confidence in Sage. It's a fabulous rod to buy. Is it a Sage ESN? Is it a Thomas & Thomas? Absolutely not. It's 2 different things. So don't ask me to compare the TNT Contact 2 to this rod. It's like a $300 price difference. They're not the same thing. Same with the Sage ESN. The Sage ESN, their kinetic technology, rod is going to be built with a different material than this. This is graphite 5, I believe it is. Yeah, Generation 5 is the proper name. Generation 5 technology. The kinetic technology, it's different material. It's going to be finer, it's going to be lighter, it's going to be more sensitive. This is one heck of a rod though. Let's take one more look at the reel seat. It's down locking. These rods do not have fighting butts. Some folks like a fighting butt, some don't. I'm somewhere in the middle. But it does get the reel all the way to the back end, which is nice just for balance. It's blacked out. Everything's dark on this rod. When you're Euro nymph fishing, you typically are very close quarters, so you don't want a real flashy rod. But overall, I like the feel of the rod. I think it's a great choice, okay? I'm gonna throw a few more casts here and see if I can get the other fish that was on the other end, or on the other fly when I hooked up just a moment ago. And I am just battling this wind. I gotta have to wait for little breaks between the wind in order to get just the right presentation here. So lead ahead, leading. There was a strike right there. Lay it back in. Oh, that wind. There he is. Little guy. That might have been the same one that was on the first time. That one ate the other fly. We'll take it. A little bit tangled up. All right, should we see if there's another one in there? All right, sink. There he is right there. That little spot is just full of trout right now. And initially I used this log to kind of shield me. I can get pretty close to these fish right here. We'll end the rod review at that right there. scrappy little rainbow, we'll take that kind of trout all day long. It's a great day to do a rod review. It's been really good fishing, so it's made it pretty fun being able to, you know, hook up a lot of trout, especially one like this. We'll just take a real quick look at him. Yeah, he's not cooperating. We're just gonna let him swim as fast as we can. He's gonna earn his freedom here. But yeah, great day to do a rod review. Hey, one thing I did not mention about this rod is when you're deciding kind of what weights to buy is Euro lines are definitely better for these things as far as Euro nymph fishing, especially in windy conditions like this. Skinnier line is always better, but it's a really good idea to keep a floating line, either a spare spool or a reel. I was down in this very section of river last week when it was a little high and dirty, and I didn't expect dry fly fishing, so I didn't bring any dry fly rods per se, but I did have a floating line, and we ended up using this Sage Sense 10-foot 3-weight to throw March Browns to some really big rising trout. We put it on our Instagram, and it was pretty cool, but I was really grateful that the rod, being a number 3 and a 10-footer, which is kind of the short end of Euro rods, the 10-footers tend to cast dry flies better, and the rod performed well as a dry fly rod. Not my favorite dry fly rod, but keep a floating line with you, it's just good practice.